Hello guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching this video from and when you're watching this video. It's El Zenito and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be looking at something very simple. I'm going to be showing you how to do a very basic beginner-friendly camera animation on Blender. So let's just jump straight right into it. We're going to select and delete. So to select, press A and delete. Now, quickly, we are going to bring in a model to use. So let's just press Shift A and I'm going to choose, let me see, a mesh. Let's bring in our monkey mesh, right? So we're going to use this mesh as our model. So I'm going to bring it up here. What do I want to do? Let me add a modifier, subdivide it, right? Then shade smooth so it looks smooth. Then I can give it just a red color, right? Or whatever color we want to give it. You can make it less shiny or more shiny, but let's give it less shiny. You can make it slightly metallic like this. But yeah, I mean, we're not really bothered with that. The major thing is to show you how to like use your camera, right? So let's say we have a model, right? This could be your shoe. You've modeled a shoe, you've modeled a character or anything, but you want your camera, you want to like do a very simple basic camera motion around it, right? So this is our model. It's called Susan. Now the next thing you want to do is bring in your camera, Shift A and click on camera. You can see your camera here. If you are using a laptop that has the number pad, you can press O0 to zoom into your camera. If you don't have that, just click on just toggle the camera view and you'll see it here. Now if you zoom out, you'll see that you can't control the camera. What you want to do is press N, select view and turn check this 3D cursor and camera view, then press N to close this back. Now when you zoom out, when you click on your environment, then zoom out, right? Or let's just click on Susan and zoom out. And you can see that you're zooming out, right? Yeah, quickly. They're just running fast. Now that you're zooming out, now that you've zoomed out, right? Your camera is facing the character. Now you want your camera to probably be square feet or to be a portrait or anything. To do that, you just go to output and you can change it here. I'll change it from 1920 to 1080. I'll change it to 1080 by 1080. So it's going to be a square. Now let me zoom out properly so I can bring up your timeline, right? You can bring up your timeline, then I'll select it back, then close this. Now we have our camera, right? This is our camera. This is our camera, this is the model, right? So what you want to do is this. There's this tool on Blender that makes it very easy to like, animate your camera, and that's auto keyframing, which is this button here, right? So what you want to do is this. The first thing you want to do is first set your first position, your first camera position. So you can set your camera position so as far as this, right? So when you have set your camera position, press, while your keyboard is hovering on the scene, press I and it automatically adds it automatically adds a keyframe to your timeline. It adds a keyframe to your timeline. Now turn on this auto keyframing. When you turn it on, anytime you move your cursor to a timeline and you change the position of the camera, it automatically adds a keyframe for you, making it very easy for you. So let's do that. So I'm going to move from 0 or from 1 to 50, and then I'll move my camera close to Susan. And you can see it has added a keyframe for me. Then I'll move from 50 to 100. Then I'll move the camera like this. That's added another keyframe. From 100, I'll move to 150. Then I'll move the camera again, like this. Now from 150 to 200, I'll then move the camera very close to Susan, just like this. I'll stop here, or you can just stop here. So now that we have this, we can then go back, click on this to jump to the endpoint, and we have our first scene. Now don't play your camera animation yet. Make sure your camera is selected. Go to constraints. We want to make the camera track the object. So click on constraints add object constraints and select track to. When you select track to, you then select this eyedropper icon and select the object Susan. Now your camera has been tracked, or your camera has been attached to Susan. So your camera, as it moves, it will make sure that it doesn't move outside the scope of Susan. So when you play your animation, this is what you will get. We have this, it goes round, and close. Amazing. Very simple basic animation that you can use for your character or for your model, whatever it is you want to use it for, right? It's very simple. Now you can come out of camera view and probably add your, let's go back to the end point. Then you can add like what's it called, a plane, increase the size. Then you can add like, you can make it glass, go to your materials, then make it glass, right? So let's just make it glass. Now come to render, choose cycles for your device, make it GPU compute, right? If you have, like, you know, if your system has GPU. But yeah, I'm not going to even bother myself with all this. I just want to show you how to make very simple camera animation. But yeah, if I go then to my camera view, you can add Control Shift A. You can add light, point light. You can bring it up, and you can increase the size a little bit. Then go to light here, add your power from 10 watts to probably like 1000 watts. Still not showing, so let me see. Okay, let's go to, yeah, this is currently on renders. So you can add light like this. You can Shift D, then add another light here. I mean, just play around it. If you conversant with light or how it works, you can play around it. And most times I don't really like using point light. I like using an image. I like using a plane as my light. So if I press Shift A and I bring in a plane and I increase the size like this, I can then change the material to emission. Then it becomes a light on its own, right? You can see it becomes a light on its own. Then you can change the light to probably blue or any color you want, right? You can even increase the strength if you want, whatever it is you want to play with. But yeah, that's basically it, right? And when you are done, go to N and unlock this back so that you can zoom in and see what you have done so far. And yeah, you're good to go. You can set in your render stuff and you're good to go. So if I go back to my material preview and I press play, you can see my camera zooms in, goes round, zoom in like that. And that's basically how to do a very simple camera animation. If this is something that you would love to like try out, and if this really helps you with your project, give me a like, comment and share, and subscribe as well, and share with your friends. Yeah, good to see you next time. Cheers.